My name is Natalie Cross. I'm 34 years old, and I need to tell you about the day I attended my ex-husband's wedding to his mistress. Except I wasn't just a guest. I was the bomb that was about to detonate their entire fairy tale. But they had no idea. No one did. Not until a seemingly innocent toast turned my ex-husband's face the color of ash and his new bride's dream wedding into a nightmare. I met Matteo Sullivan when I was 26. He was a derivatives trader at Goldman Sachs, making obscene money even by Manhattan standards. I was a corporate lawyer at a mid-tier firm, billing 2,200 hours a year and barely seeing daylight. We were the power couple, the ones other people envied, engaged after 8 months, married in a ceremony at the plaza that cost $300,000, half of which I paid for because partnership means equality, according to Matteo. For 5 years, our marriage looked perfect from the outside. Penthouse in Tribeca, summer house in the Hamptons, his and hers Teslas, annual trips to Bali, Monaco, the Maldives. But here's what people didn't see. I worked 80-hour weeks while Mateo worked from home 3 days a week. I paid for our housekeeper, our groceries, most of our utilities. Mateo paid the mortgage and considered himself the primary breadwinner. I came home to him playing video games while I'd been in depositions all day. I cooked dinner while he watched TV. I did the mental labor of managing our life, scheduling, planning, remembering birthdays, booking travel, while he showed up and took credit. Nat, you're so lucky I'm flexible with my schedule, he'd say. Imagine if we both worked your insane hours. I was too exhausted to argue. Then came the fertility struggle. 2 years of trying, 3 rounds of IVF, $75,000 in medical bills, all from my savings because Mateo's money was tied up in investments. After the third failed round, Mateo sat me down. Nat, I think we need to accept that kids might not be in our future. And honestly, maybe that's okay. We have a great life. Why ruin it with diapers and sleepless nights? I was devastated, but he seemed relieved, almost happy. That should have been my first clue. The second clue came 3 months later when I found the receipt. Mateo had left his jacket on the bed, and when I went to hang it up, a piece of paper fell out. Cartier, ladies' diamond bracelet, $12,000. My heart jumped. Our anniversary was next week. Mateo was notoriously bad at gifts, usually forgot entirely, but maybe he'd finally stepped up. I said nothing, waited for our anniversary dinner at Per Se, his favorite restaurant. The dinner was beautiful. Mateo was charming, attentive, almost like our early dating days. After dessert, I waited for the gift. He gave me a card, just a card, with a generic message about love and partnership. No bracelet. I love you too, I said, confused. Is there anything else? What do you mean? Nothing, never mind. I went home and searched the apartment top to bottom. No bracelet. I checked his credit card statements online. We had joint accounts, so I had access. The Cartier purchase was there, but there was another entry. 1 week later, Tiffany & Co., ladies' necklace, $8,500. 2 expensive jewelry purchases in 2 weeks, neither of them for me. That's when I hired the private investigator. Her name was Simone, and she looked like someone's suburban mom, which was exactly why she was so good at her job. Within 2 weeks, she had everything. Photos of Mateo meeting a woman at a hotel in Midtown, the same woman having lunch with him at restaurants I'd never been to, the same woman wearing a Cartier bracelet and Tiffany necklace in her Instagram photos. Her name was Chloe Brennan, 28 years old, junior marketing manager at a tech startup. Blonde, Instagram perfect, 47,000 followers. They'd been seeing each other for 8 months. 8 months. During our IVF, during my 80-hour work weeks, during every night I came home exhausted while he was working from home. I paid Simone her full fee and asked her to keep digging. I needed to know everything. Everything, she asked. Everything. I didn't confront Mateo immediately. I was a lawyer. I need better than to show my hand before I'd built my case. Instead, I did what I do best. I investigated. I went through 7 years of financial records, every credit card statement, every bank transfer, every investment Mateo had made. What I found was worse than the affair. Mateo wasn't just cheating, he was stealing. Our joint account, the one we both contributed for household expenses, was supposed to have about $85,000 in it. It had $3,200. Over the past 3 years, Mateo had been systematically draining it. Small transfers, $2,000 here, $5,000 there, amounts small enough that I wouldn't notice in my day-to-day checking, but large enough to add up. $81,800. Gone. I traced where it went, a separate account in his name only, and from that account transfers to Chloe Brennan, rent payments for an apartment in Chelsea, the Cartier bracelet, the Tiffany necklace, dinners at restaurants that cost more than my monthly car payment. He was funding an entire second life with my money. But it got worse. Remember those investments Mateo said his money was tied up in? I found the brokerage statements. His portfolio was worth $1.7 million. Not tied up, just his. While I'd been draining my savings for IVF, for household expenses, for our life, he'd been hoarding his wealth and spending mine. I scheduled an appointment with the best divorce attorney in New York. Her name was Patricia Harding, and she had a reputation for eviscerating unfaithful husbands. "How bad do you want to hurt him?" she asked after I showed her everything. "I want him destroyed, financially, socially, completely." Patricia smiled. "Then we're going to have some fun." We spent 3 weeks building the case. We documented every fraudulent transfer, every lie about his finances, every dollar he's stolen from our joint account, every dollar he'd stolen from our joint account. Every lie about his finances, every dollar he'd stolen from our joint account, every lie about his finances, every dollar he'd stolen from our joint account. Then I confronted him. I came home early on a Thursday. Mateo was on the couch playing Call of Duty, wearing noise-canceling headphones. I stood in front of the TV until he noticed me. "Nat, why are you home?" "We need to talk." "Can it wait? I'm in the middle of a match." I unplugged the PlayStation. "Hey, what the hell?" I threw the folder on the coffee table. Photos of Mateo and Chloe kissing outside her apartment, Mateo and Chloe at dinner, Mateo and Chloe in bed. Thank you, Simone, for the long-range camera work. His color drained from his face. "Nat, I can explain." "Don't. I have 8 months of evidence. I know about Chloe. I know about the apartment in Chelsea. I know about the $81,800 you stole from our joint account. I know about your $1.7 million portfolio you claimed was tied up. I know everything." He stood up, his hands raised. Okay, yes, I screwed up, but we can work through this. Couples therapy. We can... No. We're getting divorced, and you're going to give me everything I'm entitled to, plus everything you stole, plus punitive damages for fraud, or I'm going to the SEC with evidence that you've been engaged in insider trading. The last part was a bluff. I hadn't found evidence of insider trading, but his face told me I'd hit a nerve. "You wouldn't." "Try. Patricia Harding is my attorney. You've heard of her, right? She ate a Morgan Stanley VP for breakfast last year. She'd love to add a Goldman trader to her resume." Mateo sat down heavily. "What do you want?" "Everything in writing. You admit to the affair. You admit to stealing from our joint account. You agree to a settlement that gives me 60% of all marital assets, and you don't contest it." 60%? That's insane. 55% is standard in New York for marital asset division. The extra 5% is the stupidity tax for stealing from me and thinking I wouldn't notice. Sign, or I start making phone calls to your employer. He signed. The divorce was finalized in 4 months. I walked away with $890,000, the Hamptons house, and my dignity. Mateo kept the Tribeca apartment, his brokerage account, and Chloe. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. 18 months after our divorce was finalized, an envelope arrived at my new apartment, a beautiful 2-bedroom in Brooklyn Heights that I'd bought with my settlement money. Cream-colored, embossed, expensive. A wedding invitation. Mateo Sullivan and Chloe Brennan request the honor of your presence at their wedding ceremony. I stared at it. They were getting married. At the Plaza, the same venue where Mateo and I had gotten married. There was a handwritten note inside. Natalie, I know this might seem strange, but Chloe and I would really like you to be there. We've all been through a lot, but life goes on. We're starting fresh, and we'd love to have your blessing. I hope we can all be adults about this and move forward. Mateo. The audacity, the sheer, breathtaking audacity. He wanted me to attend his wedding to his mistress, to give my blessing, to be an adult. I should have thrown the invitation in the trash, should have blocked their numbers and moved on with my life. But I'm a lawyer, and lawyers never forget. I RSVP'd yes, and then I made a phone call to Simone. I need you to dig deeper on Chloe Brennan. Everything. Her finances, her history, her social media, her ex-boyfriends. I want to know who she really is. Planning something? Simone asked. Just being thorough. It took Simone 3 weeks. What she found was gold. Chloe Brennan wasn't just a junior marketing manager at a tech startup. She was a professional. Not in marketing, in relationships. Simone found 3 previous boyfriends, all wealthy, all married, all divorced shortly after Chloe entered their lives. In each case, Chloe had walked away with gifts, money, or settlements after the wives discovered the affairs. She had a pattern. Meet wealthy married man, seduce him, accept expensive gifts, wait for the wife to find out, play the innocent victim, move on to the next target once the divorce was finalized. Mateo wasn't her first married man. He wasn't even her third. He was her 4th. And based on her social media activity, she was already cultivating her 5th, a venture capitalist she'd been photographed with at 3 separate charity events in the past 2 months. But the real kicker? Chloe wasn't even her real name. Her birth name was Chelsea Brenner. She'd legally changed it to Chloe Brennan 3 years ago after her second married boyfriend's wife filed a harassment complaint against her. This woman was a predator, and Mateo was too stupid to see it. I could have called him, warned him, told him what she really was, but where's the fun in that? The plaza was decorated like a fairy tale. White roses everywhere, crystal chandeliers, a string quartet playing Pachelbel's canon. I wore Valentino. Red dress, fitted, elegant. The kind of dress that makes people look twice. Mateo's mother saw me first. Her face went through several emotions in rapid succession. Surprise, confusion, disapproval, resignation. Natalie, I didn't expect you to come. Mateo invited me. He wanted me to see him start fresh. She looked like she wanted to say something, but a bridesmaid, one of Chloe's Instagram friends, swept her away to deal with some crisis involving the seating chart. I found my seat, back row, thankfully, next to a woman I didn't recognize. Friend of the bride or groom? She asked. Groom. Ex-wife, actually. Her eyebrows shot up. That's interesting, isn't it? The ceremony was predictable. Chloe looked stunning in a dress that probably cost $15,000. Mateo looked nervous but happy. They exchanged vows about love, partnership, and building a future together. I didn't throw up, which felt like a victory. The reception was at the grand ballroom. Dinner was served, speeches began. Mateo's best man told embarrassing stories from college. Chloe's maid of honor, another Instagram influencer, gave a speech about finding your soulmate. Then the MC announced, "We'd like to invite anyone who'd like to say a few words to come up to the microphone." This was my moment. I stood up, walked to the microphone. Every eye in the room was on me. Hi, everyone. I'm Natalie Cross. Some of you know me as Mateo's ex-wife. Awkward laughter rippled through the crowd. I just wanted to say a few words about Mateo and Chloe because I know them both pretty well. Mateo's face was already turning pink. Chloe was smiling, but her eyes were wary. Mateo and I were married for 5 years, and during that time, I learned a lot about Mateo. I learned that he's charming, successful, and great at making grand romantic gestures. People were nodding. This sounded like a normal toast. I also learned that he's a liar, a thief, and a coward who funded his affair with Chloe by stealing $81,000 from our joint bank account. Gasps. Actual gasps. Mateo stood up. "Natalie, stop!" I'm not done. See, when Mateo and I got divorced, I hired a private investigator, and that investigator found some really interesting things about Chloe. Chloe's smile had frozen. Did you know Chloe's real name is Chelsea Brenner? Did you know she legally changed it 3 years ago? Did you know Mateo is her fourth married boyfriend? The room was dead silent. Mateo isn't special, Chloe. He's just next. And based on the photos my investigator took of you with venture capitalist Daniel Hartman last month at 3 separate charity events, I'd say Mateo's shelf life is up. I pulled out my phone and projected photos onto the screen behind me. Photos of Chloe and a distinguished-looking man in his 50s, laughing over wine, holding hands across a table, kissing outside a restaurant. The photos were time-stamped. 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, 3 days ago. Chloe went white. Mateo turned to look at her. "What the hell is this?" "Mateo, she's lying. Those photos are fake." "They're not fake. I have the original files, complete with metadata. I also have financial records showing that Daniel Hartman has been paying for Chloe's apartment in Chelsea for the past 6 months. The same apartment Mateo thinks he's paying for." I turned back to the crowd. "So, here's my toast. Mateo, congratulations. You cheated on a woman who loved you with a woman who's cheating on you. Chloe, congratulations. You're marrying a man who will steal from you the same way he stole from me. I give this marriage 6 months before one of you files for annulment or fraud charges." I raised my empty champagne glass. "To the happy couple, may you get exactly what you deserve." I walked out of the ballroom to complete silence. Behind me, I heard Mateo's voice rising. "Chloe, what the fuck is she talking about?" I heard Chloe's voice, shrill. "She's lying. Those photos are photoshopped." I heard Mateo's mother. "Oh my God, this was a mistake." I heard chaos erupting. And I walked out of the plaza with my head held high, got in a cab, and went home. The fallout was spectacular. By the next morning, the story had spread through our entire social circle. Someone had filmed my speech and posted it to TikTok. It went viral. 2.3 million views in 48 hours. The comments were savage. This is the level of petty I aspire to. She did not come to play. Ex-wife said, "Let me ruin your wedding real quick." This is what happens when you cheat on a lawyer. Mateo called me 47 times. I blocked his number. Chloe's Instagram went private. Then it was deleted entirely. Then her LinkedIn disappeared. Mateo's mother called me once. "Natalie, what you did was cruel." What Mateo did was cruel. I just revealed it publicly. You humiliated him. He humiliated himself. I just provided evidence. She hung up. 3 days after the wedding, Simone called me. "Nat, you're gonna love this. Mateo filed for an annulment." "Already?" "Already. Turns out Chloe was still legally married to husband number 2, never finalized the divorce. The marriage to Mateo is void." I started laughing. Couldn't stop. There's more. Daniel Hartman, the venture capitalist, saw the TikTok video. He's pressing charges against Chloe for fraud. Apparently, she convinced him to invest $250,000 in a fake tech startup. His lawyers are ruthless. How ruthless? Criminal charges ruthless. Chloe might actually go to jail. And Mateo? He's trying to recover the money he spent on the wedding. The plaza won't refund him because he still technically had the event. He's out $150,000. I felt a warm glow of satisfaction. Thank you, Simone. Send me your final invoice. This one's on the house. That was the most fun I've had in 15 years of investigative work. 1 week later, I received a letter, hand-delivered to my apartment, from Matteo. Natalie, I know you'll probably throw this away without reading it, but I need to say it anyway. You were right about everything. Chloe was using me. The marriage was a fraud, literally. She was still married to someone else. The apartment I was paying for, she was subletting it and pocketing the difference. The marketing manager job, she quit 6 months ago and never told me. I thought I was trading up when I left you. I thought Chloe was exciting, spontaneous, free-spirited. Turns out she was just a con artist, and I was too stupid to see it. You spent 5 years being a good wife. You worked your ass off. You paid for our life. You supported me, and I repaid you by stealing from you and cheating on a woman who was running the same scam on me. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I needed you to know you won. Not just at the wedding, at everything, at life. You're successful, independent, respected. And I'm a divorced idiot who got played by a con artist. I hope you're happy, Nat. I really do. You deserve it. Matteo. I read the letter once, then I threw it away. Not because I was angry, because I was done. Done with Matteo, done with the drama, done with looking backward. 6 months later, I was having drinks with friends at a bar in Brooklyn when my phone buzzed. A LinkedIn message from Chloe Brennan, or Chelsea Brenner, whoever she really was. Natalie, I know you hate me. I know what I did was wrong, but I wanted you to know I'm getting help. Real help. Therapy. I realized I have patterns, issues with men, issues with money. What I did to you and Matteo was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just wanted you to know I'm trying to change. Chelsea. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied, Chelsea, I appreciate the apology. I don't forgive you, and I probably never will, but I hope you do get help. Not for me, for the next person, and the person after that. Good luck. Natalie. I closed LinkedIn and went back to my friends. Everything okay? My best friend Maya asked. Everything's perfect, I said, and I meant it. I'm sitting in my office at a new law firm. I made partner 3 months ago, looking at the view of Manhattan. My apartment in Brooklyn Heights is exactly what I wanted. My bank account is healthy. My life is mine. Matteo got remarried 6 months ago to a woman his own age, apparently. Someone from his office. Someone normal. I hope she makes him happy. I genuinely do, because I don't care anymore. Chloe/Chelsea disappeared from social media entirely. Rumor is she moved to California and is working at a nonprofit. I hope that's true. I hope she actually changed. But mostly, I hope she stays far away from married men. As for me, I'm dating a professor from Columbia. He's kind, smart, and most importantly, single, never married, no baggage. We take things slow. We spill checks. We have actual conversations about our feelings. It's boring compared to the drama with Matteo. It's also the healthiest relationship I've ever had. Last week, someone asked me if I regretted the wedding speech, if I thought it was too harsh. No, I said. I regret staying quiet for 5 years. I regret not seeing the signs earlier. I regret wasting time on someone who didn't value me. But the speech? The speech was perfect. Because here's what I learned. Revenge isn't about hurting people. It's about revealing truth. Matteo was a liar and a thief. Chloe was a con artist. I didn't ruin their wedding by making a speech. I ruined their wedding by telling everyone exactly who they were. And sometimes the truth is the most savage weapon of all. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, hit that subscribe button and share this video. Comment below. What would you have done at that wedding? And remember, you don't have to forgive people who hurt you, but you do have to move forward. I moved forward, right past them, and I've never looked back.